It is 9 o'clock. Welcome to Daybreak on WGRZ Plus, and we have breaking news to begin this newscast. We just got word of a deadly shooting on Walden Avenue in Buffalo. It happened around 9:30 last night. A city spokesperson says that a 21-year-old man was taken to the hospital where he later died. His name will be released once his family is notified, but officers say they're actively investigating and they're following several leads. We'll update you once we learn more. Good morning and welcome to Daybreak Plus. And the city of Buffalo now has a new police commissioner.
I don't look at Buffalo. I think some people have termed it, are you going to a mid-sized city? I don't view it that way. To me, Buffalo is a large city, and I'm thrilled to, its history has always fascinated me, and I've watched how it's grown and invested in the arts community and revitalizing the downtown, and I think it's a beautiful city.
After a search that lasted several months, Erica Shields is now set to take on the new role. She's expected to take the position in early May, pending Common Council approval. Now, if her appointment is approved, Erica Shields will become the first woman to serve as Buffalo Police Commissioner. Shields previously served as police chief in Atlanta, Georgia, as well as Louisville, Kentucky. We asked Shields how her experience in those places can help her, especially since she'll be facing some issues like a new union labor contract for police officers and staffing shortages.
And you can't think that you're going to step into a role of this magnitude and not have challenges, but you just have to continually work through them. I think Louisville, for me, because it was so heavily unionized, actually gave me far more in the way of exposure and an understanding of how best to navigate the negotiation process.
And Shields did credit interim Commissioner Craig Macy for guiding the department for the past few months. She also added there is a motivated command staff in place that will help her lead the department. One woman is seriously hurt after this rollover crash in a Genesee County farm field. New York State Police say that the vehicle was heading east yesterday afternoon on Town Line Road in Bergen when it went off the road, hitting a utility pole and a fire hydrant before landing in the field. A baby was inside the car at the time, but is okay. The driver, a woman in her early 20s, was flown to Strong Memorial Hospital in Rochester with serious injuries. Investigators believe she may have suffered a medical issue prior to the crash. Buffalo police are investigating a deadly shooting on the city's east side. A city spokesperson tells us it happened just after 7 o'clock Sunday night on Townsend Street between William and Peckham. We are told police found a 32-year-old man with a gunshot wound to the thigh. He died at the scene. Police have not said whether any arrests have been made in connection with that shooting. It has now been 7 years since a 12-year-old boy in Buffalo died in his home after a stray bullet hit him in the head. Police are still searching for the person who fired the shot that killed Bedreldeem El-Wassim. He was standing in his kitchen in his family's apartment on William and Mortimer when a random gunshot went through the window and took his life. The FBI is offering a $25,000 reward for information that leads to the gunman's arrest. A 17-year-old is scheduled to return for a felony hearing this afternoon after bringing an unloaded handgun to a Buffalo school. The incident happened last Wednesday morning at the Math, Science, and Technology Prep on East Delavan. That's where a school security guard reportedly found the gun in a student's bag. Police say the teenager is already facing separate charges from a prior gun and weapons case and is currently in the custody of the Erie County Youth Services Center. State Department of Transportation crews will fill 175,000 potholes across the state this month alone. That's according to Governor Kathy Hochul, who lent a hand on one pothole yesterday. The work is now underway on state highways across New York, including a $5.1 million project on Harlem Road in West Seneca. More than 200 crews will use thousands of tons of asphalt to fill potholes statewide.
I'm here to say, potholes, your days are numbered, literally numbered. We're counting how many we're taking down. I just took down one. This week, we're planning on eliminating over 44,000 potholes statewide.
And the governor also says plans are in place to fill hundreds of thousands more as weather permits over the months ahead. Buffalo city leaders are facing some serious financial questions, and the state comptroller's office is now stepping in, launching an expedited review of the city's finances. Our Rob Hackford breaks down what this all means and what we're learning about the budget. Good morning, Rob.
Yeah, good morning, Pete. This letter obtained by 2 on your side indicates that the state comptroller doesn't have enough time to do a full audit, but it will conduct an expedited review of finances for the city with the deadline to pass a budget coming up fast, April 15th. We're going to be heading to the Finance Committee meeting today to learn more about this with plenty of discussion ahead. It comes 1 week after the Common Council passed a resolution asking Tom DiNapoli's office to step in here. Council members are looking to better understand the city's budget deficit, with the mayor's office and city comptroller offering wildly different estimates, ranging from $50 million to $109 million. What remains unclear is how long this expedited review will take and what it will impact. The mayor's proposed budget is due again in just over a week. Multiple sources in City Hall have indicated that he's pitching a near $700 million budget compared to last year's budget of $621 million. But the mayor had this to say about why that number appears so high.
Last year's budget was in the 600s, but now if you add in the deficit of the items that came in well over budget, that gets you up till it's like 670s, 680s. Then if you add 2% to that, that's what's going to put you close to the 700. You could say your budget's only $10, but then if you have $15 worth of outstanding bills, then suddenly, you got a big deficit. So the last several years, they've understated the expenses, but those expenses came in during the year as what they were expected to be.
You can think of it as the city carrying over a balance on their credit card. Pension costs included in that, overtime or for police and fire, also impacting the budget this year. Ryan says the numbers for this budget remain pretty fluid until the final documents are submitted to the Common Council. Not helping firm up those numbers is the lack of a state budget. The state legislature passed a budget extender last week. We're expecting another one to pass today. That means the city is plugging in numbers that could ebb and flow, with assurances, though, for the state gaming compact funds and other municipal money. That's something that we'll continue to follow in the coming weeks. On your side, Rob Hackford, Channel 2 News. Pete?
All right. Thank you very much, Rob. And a camera attached to a pet food dispenser is now being credited for actually preventing a fire from getting much worse. The fire started in the kitchen of this home on Genesee Street in the town of Alden. The fire chief told 2 on your side something hit a burner on the stove, causing it to turn on. A cutting board and a box of pet food on top caught fire. The flames didn't spread outside of the kitchen thanks to that camera.
The residents actually spotted the fire yesterday they bought a pet feeder with a camera on it, and it alerted them. They actually saw the fire on their camera and alerted us before the fire got real bad. They caught it really early. Thank God for that pet camera. It could have been, it was minutes away from being really bad.
Boy, talk about timing. The fire did cause about $10,000 in damage. The fire chief added that you should not leave anything flammable on top of your stove.
I like the idea of
Pet
the
feeder
camera.
with a camera. Yeah, that's cool.
Well, I don't know about you. We have the bird feeder, and the squirrels, man, they crawl up the pole and then hang literally on the bird feeder trying to get as much bird feed as they can.
Yep.
And they're like fearless, these squirrels. And they're like doing trapeze type stuff. And I'm thinking, we have a camera on that? How I could spend hours, Pete.
Exactly. And, not necessarily a pet feeder unless you've got squirrels for pets, but.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, you're right. You said, I'm thinking animal. You meant
You can get one of my neighbors has cameras all over their yard, and they're wildlife cameras. They want to see what the squirrels are doing, what the neighborhood cats are doing. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And then every now and then you get like a surprise. Like, have you heard, it's called it begins with an F. It's like a wild, like cat-like thing, a fisher. Have you heard of those?
I have not.
Are they mythical, or are they real?
Is it closely related to a liger?
Or a jackalope? A liger. I think they're like very rare, but it's a fisher cat, and they make a very eerie cry.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we digress. Anyway, thus the wildlife cameras would capture some of these. I think they have them in the southern tier. Anyway, speaking of which, here's Salamanca. You got some light snowflakes continuing to fly here. The snow showers should come to an end later this morning, leaving us with quite a chilly day with clearing skies, though. We should get some sun this afternoon. And then as we head into tomorrow, not as cold. The sun continues. Temperatures should get into the low to mid 50s. And then warmer for the end of the week. Damp, though, on Friday. That's our best chance of rain showers coming Friday and then maybe again on Monday. There you can see some of the snow showers from Little Valley down towards Salamanca, also into Varysburg, Java, some flurries even around Buffalo. I mean, again, they're going to be fading pretty quickly as skies should begin to slowly clear. Snow showers even into Toronto. So it's cold, area-wide. Cold enough again for snow showers that Future Look continues to want to push out of here with the clouds. So clearing skies later today and then certainly tonight. It'll be a cold night tonight with the clear skies, lows in the 20s, low 20s. And then tomorrow, sunshine, a warmer day with highs back into the 50s. Maybe a little increase in some cloud cover Thursday as a weak cold front approaches and spreads a couple of little rain showers. See those moving through with warmer numbers on Thursday. Now, this same front will get a little kind of a push, if you will, of additional moisture, and it will cause more rain to move in on Friday. That same front will kind of just stall there, and then rain will develop along it Friday. High temperatures today in the 30s, high temperatures tomorrow in the 50s, and I think we're into the 60s come Thursday. Here's that front I was just showing you. Notice how it kind of falls apart here, but then watch. A little more juice comes in and brings some rain showers on Friday. And then that pushes out, leaving us with dry weather for the weekend. That'll be nice. So cold today, snow showers, mostly sunny eventually. Clear and cold tonight down to 22. And then for tomorrow, sunny and mild with temperatures into the low 50s. There are the rain showers on Friday. Dry weather Saturday, 50s, 60s on Sunday. And then next week, as the kids go back to school, rain showers likely on Monday with temperatures warming up in the mid to upper 60s. Pete.
And Patrick, I remembered I have a computer in my hand, so I looked it up.
Yeah.
It's a Fisher, commonly known as a Fisher cat.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's not a cat. It's in the weasel family.
It's in the weasel. Okay.
Yeah. So, but you are correct.
Okay. And they're pretty rare, and they're not seen very often. But I think that they do populate the southern tier. I've heard.
Yeah, and the ligers, they never make it this far north, so
no, and
don't have to worry about that.
And do you know what a jackalope is?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Those are more in the Southwest.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, indeed. My son tried out for a junior hockey team called the Odessa Jackalopes.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, there you go. Little known fact.
Little known fact.
We've got a lot of more little known facts coming up after the break. We're going to take a quick break now, but much more Daybreaks coming up on the other side. It is 9:15 now on Daybreak, and the Sabres looked like a playoff-ready team once again last night as they knocked off the visiting Lightning to get back to the top of the division standings. Jason Zucker scored the go-ahead goal late in the second. Jack Quinn added an empty netter, and Buffalo held on to beat the Lightning 4-2 at KeyBank Center. Alex Tuck and Josh Norris also scored as the Sabres pulled into a tie with Tampa for first place in the Atlantic Division. 6K, as he's called now. It's no longer UPL, it's 6K.
Oh.
Because there are 6Ks in Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen.
There's 6.
Yeah, there's 6 of them. But he made 23 saves. That's the important number. To outduel Andrei Vasilevsky in front of a sellout crowd for Buffalo's first home game since clinching its first playoff berth since 2011.
I think it's an easy game to get up for. Throughout the season, there's some games that are tougher to get ready for, tougher to get your mind in the right place. But after last game we had with these guys, I think everyone was, focused and had their minds in the right place to, put a full 60-minute effort like we did.
Closer to playoffs. I think we were skating well today. We didn't get dragged into the muddy game today, and I think we just played a solid game overall. They're a really good team. They don't they don't necessarily shoot the puck always the most. They try to make plays, and just happy. I feel like we going back to playing good games, a team. It always helps me too.
And with last night's win, the Sabres and Lightning are tied for first place in the Atlantic Division with 102 points. Tampa has a game in hand. Now, let's take a closer look at the standings. These are the conference standings now. You've got the Hurricanes that are still on top with 104 points with a game in hand on the Sabres. The Lightning and Sabres are tied with 102 points. Montreal is just nipping at their heels. They're at 100 points, and both the Lightning and Canadiens have a game in hand on the Sabres. Both teams are playing tonight. And while the Sabres returned home to KeyBank Center for the first time since clinching that playoff spot, first time in 15 years, the pressure is on for the playoffs. Last night, the Sabres gave fans a lot to cheer about with this statement win against the Tampa Bay Lightning. And Daybreak's Natalie Foss joins us from KeyBank Center to tell us more from that angle.
What a perfect way to return home after ending that 14-year playoff drought. Then, of course, with a win right here at KeyBank Center. Now, the team is focused on continuing to get those wins on the board, but fans tell us that this is the energy that they haven't felt in years. The effort will continue tomorrow for the team as they face off against the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden. But if you're looking for a fun atmosphere here in Buffalo to enjoy the game, the Saberhood Bar Takeover will be downtown at Sidelines. It provides that game atmosphere with the game sound on, giveaways, and drink specials. We met up with some fans outside the arena before the game yesterday, and they tell us this is the most they've been excited about this team in over a decade.
Going to the cup! Woo! Yeah! It's just like you can literally feel it before the game even starts. Like before everybody even gets in there. Like you can just feel it, and it's so special.
We've developed into a team that's worth rooting for and worth coming to see, and God bless everybody who's been along for the journey with us and like us for the past 10, 15 years or so.
And the Sabres return to Buffalo on Thursday, where they'll face off against the Columbus Blue Jackets at 7 p.m. And I checked on Ticketmaster this morning. Tickets in the 300 section are running about $52 to $57, but you might want to keep an eye on them because they could go fast as the excitement continues to grow here in Buffalo. On your side at KeyBank Center, Natalie Foss, Channel 2 News.
All right, thank you very much, Natalie. And boy, they're fun to watch. As soon as I turned on the first period last night,
you knew
it was okay. This team is back.
Is back
because I mean they were fast, they were aggressive, they were on top of them from the get-go, and it's fun to see. And you were just asking me during during Natalie's report. It said, you don't really get with the hockey players. Mm-hmm. You don't really get a chance to see their personality as much. Mm-hmm. But the Sabres do put out a lot of social media. And it's I think the main difference is the NFL. You're used to seeing them all over the place because there's network TV contracts. So you're seeing them all the time.
I forget who was involved, but they did a parody of Between the Two Ferns, which was a Zach Galifianakis bit.
Yeah.
And it's an interview type of setting. And
it was Jeff Skinner.
Was it Jeff Skinner?
Skinner.
I mean, it was a home run from what I understand. It was really funny.
Yeah.
And you kind of got a little sense of the...
In fact, that was one of the reasons they didn't want to trade him. No, I'm kidding.
You're right.
But yeah.
Your acting chops are fantastic.
Exactly. But yeah, but it's tough because the times we hear from them, it's
15, just quick
15, 20-second soundbite or an interview right after a game.
Right.
But I've seen a lot of videos where they try to unlock the personality a little bit more. There have been some guys that play guitar and you see them out. But I think maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have a weekly Meet the Sabre feature on Daybreak.
I hear a lot this is a likable team, right? Some teams are not, they might be good, but maybe not very likable, right? And I don't think this is an example of that. People like our players, and there's good energy, good vibe. There's no jerks, if you will, right?
Oh, you meant on the Sabres. I thought,
no. I don't know. There's some teams that have more of a reputation of maybe being a little tougher to root for.
Yeah, and I guess the main thing is you may have to search for it.
Yeah.
I mean, to search it out. You grew up a football fan.
Right.
So, I've always been in tune with the the personality of the Sabres teams. Back in the 70s, you saw them out. You saw them in different settings, and they would have open practices, and you were almost closer to the players. But millions of dollars puts a little distance.
Right.
But I think they're trying with a lot of the social media and a lot of the between period things that they do. They're trying to put a little personality on them, and I think that's going to be a greater opportunity once the playoffs come around.
Right.
For the first time.
Yeah, I think, because all we see are just this quick sound bites, and oftentimes they're, understandably a little more stoic and, serious.
You know what? The funny thing is UPL once asked me, he goes, we never get to see the personal side of Patrick Hammer.
Well, sometimes you bring the buffoonery out.
That's right.
Well, anyway.
I thought it was tomfoolery. Anyway, we're going to move on to the Bills right now. It's 9:22, and they are back at One Bills Drive today, beginning a new season of sorts. This time, the offseason workouts will begin under brand new head coach Joe Brady. The offseason program is divided into 3 phases under the NFL's collective bargaining agreement. The first phase is limited to meetings, strength and conditioning, and rehab work. And while the work may not seem like a big deal to a lot of fans, or not as glamorous as like training camp, fans always keep an eye on whether the stars are going out there for those off-season programs and workouts. And all signs indicate that quarterback Josh Allen will be there, even though he's recovering from foot surgery. And he and his wife, Haley Steinfeld, also announced the birth of their daughter on April 2nd. But it stands to reason, especially the fact that he's recovering from foot surgery. You would expect him at these off-season workouts and the off-season more to work with the team doctors and make sure that recovery is going the way it should.
Mm-hmm. And, but yeah, his life's a little different now. I mean, with the little daughter and new wife. My goodness. I guess he was married when the season started last year. But my point is, it's good to see him here, dedicated, early in April.
A month-old baby.
What's that?
A month-old baby.
Month-old, right. Maybe he gets...
I was going to say...
He gets a little break from the 2 a.m. wake-ups.
I think he wants to get to the off-season workout so he can get some rest.
Right, exactly.
All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back with more Daybreak. All right, it is 9:26 now. And Monday marked a major milestone in human space flight. The crew of the Artemis 2 mission aboard the Orion spacecraft set a new record for the furthest distance humans have ever traveled from Earth. The first time since Pink Floyd that we've seen the dark side of the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Michael Yoshida with more on this historic moment.
Hello, Artemis 2. This is Apollo astronaut Jim Lovell. Welcome to my old neighborhood.
On day 6 of their mission, the crew of Artemis 2 waking up to a recording from recently deceased Apollo 13 astronaut Jim Lovell.
I'm proud to pass that torch on to you as you swing around the moon and lay the groundwork for missions to Mars.
Their lunar flyby breaking his record, traveling farther from Earth than any human, and setting eyes on parts of the moon no human has before.
We most importantly choose this moment to challenge this generation and the next to make sure this record is not long-lived.
At their closest, an estimated distance of 4,070 miles from the moon, the crew will be surveying the moon's far side, which always faces away from Earth. The astronauts received extensive training from experts in how to scientifically observe the moon and its unique features.
They'll be taking pictures, making observations, pretty much the whole day event.
Views that can reveal more about its history. Also noting details on soil composition, terrain, and other insights that will be vital to future missions.
At some point, we got to go back to the surface, and we're doing a bit of a recon right now, in addition to testing the spacecraft.
In all, the astronauts have roughly 7 hours to look, take notes, and photos during the flyby.
We're going to learn an awful lot about the spacecraft, which is pretty paramount to set up for subsequent missions like Artemis 3 in 2027, and of course, the lunar landing itself on Artemis 4 in 2028.
That is incredible. The images that they're seeing, and you don't know. The mind travels to space for science fiction, right?
Right.
So they're going, I want to see a giant worm on the other side, or some life, but no.
Right, it's a giant worm. Well, also to think that when they went behind the moon, they lost communication, which they expected. How you are all alone at that point. You're floating in this thing, and you're that far away, and you can't talk to Mother Earth.
Yeah,
That's got to be.
If my earpiece cuts off for 5 seconds, I'm sitting there going,
I know. But I mean, think about how, alone, maybe in a very peaceful way they were, but I don't know for how long, but then they kind of reemerged around the eclipse of the moon, and boom, you got communication back. But it's just how surreal that must have been.
you're going around, you see Earth setting on one
Oh
side
my
and rising
God.
on the other.
Can you imagine?
And then the term that really stuck with me when they were talking about how the mission would go down, it's being pulled by gravity on one side and then slingshotted around the other side and pulled back.
And I wonder if there's one point when the Earth gravity takes over from the moon, and there's an actual event horizon or some boundary there where that happens.
Well, I think it's Friday. You can ask them.
I will ask.
They'll be back.
Good.
Thanks for joining us.
Take my call, please.
Have a great day, everyone.